What if our planet came with a rule book, a set of instructions for keeping it safe and healthy? Well, in a way, it does. And today, we're going to break down that legal framework humanity has built to protect our world. Let's be real, the very systems that support life as we know it, the air we breathe, the water we drink, our climate, they're all under enormous strain from human activity. The stakes? They've literally never been higher. So, faced with all these incredible pressures, what have we actually done about it? What does this planetary rulebook really say? Let's find out. Okay, before we can get into the rules, we first have to understand what they're up against. We're talking about three huge, interconnected issues that are the whole reason we even need environmental laws. First up, you've got pollution. This is the classic environmental problem, right? Harmful stuff getting into places where it just shouldn't be. Think industrial smog, chemicals running off into rivers. It's a direct attack on the health of our ecosystems and on us. Then there's climate change. Now, this is a much bigger, more systemic issue. By burning fossil fuels for energy, we're pumping out greenhouse gases that trap heat. And that's changing the fundamental climate patterns our planet has relied on for thousands of years. It's a global scale problem, and it needs a global scale response. And finally, there's biodiversity loss. This is kind of the silent crisis. Things like deforestation, pollution, and just using up way too many resources are causing species to vanish at a really alarming rate. It's tearing at the rich fabric of life that makes our planet so resilient. So yeah, those are the problems, and it sounds pretty overwhelming, I know. But here's the good news. We are not facing these challenges empty-handed. We have actually developed a really powerful and versatile toolkit to fight back. And that toolkit is environmental law. And look, these are not just some dry, dusty old regulations. You should think of them as active instruments, tools specifically designed for setting limits, for protecting the vulnerable, and for building a much more sustainable future. So how does this toolkit actually work? Well, it's got four core functions. First, we set standards, like putting limits on car emissions. Second, we conserve nature by creating national parks and protected areas. Third, we assess the impact, forcing developers to think about the environment before they build anything. And finally, we push for global cooperation through treaties. It's a really powerful, multi-pronged approach. Of course, a toolkit is only as good as the people who are using it. So who are the key players enforcing this planetary rulebook? Well, it turns out that responsibility is shared across every level of society. That's right, you heard me. It's a team sport. No single person or government can do it alone. The real work of protecting our environment happens everywhere, from our local city councils to our national governments and all the way up to international assemblies. And here's a quick look at how those levels work together. Your local government, they're the ones managing things like recycling programs. Then, the national government creates these big overarching laws like a Clean Air Act. And finally, international bodies bring nations together for huge agreements like the Paris Agreement. Each level has its own vital role to play. Okay, so all that theory is great, but what does this look like in the real world? Let's check out how these laws have led to some actual concrete successes. Let's compare two famous treaties to see how the tools can differ. The Montreal Protocol was like a surgical strike. It found a specific problem, those ozone-depleting chemicals, and set mandatory targets for every country to phase them out, and it worked beautifully. The Paris Agreement, on the other hand, tackles the much broader problem of climate change. It's more of a global framework where each nation sets its own goals to cut emissions. It's like a scalpel versus a giant collaborative blueprint. It just goes to show you need the right tool for the job. But the power isn't just in global treaties. A single national law can have a massive impact. The Endangered Species Act in the US or the Wildlife Protection Act in India have created these legal shields that have led to incredible comeback stories for animals like the bald eagle and the Bengal tiger. And honestly, one of the smartest tools in the whole box is the environmental impact assessment. It's the ultimate look before you leap rule because it's proactive. It forces companies to figure out a project's environmental effects before they even start digging, which prevents damage instead of just cleaning it up later. So we've got the challenges and we've got the toolkit. But this story is far from over. I mean, writing the rulebook is one thing, playing by the rules is something else entirely. The fight for our planet's future is happening right now.
And there are still major hurdles ahead. A law is pretty much useless without enforcement. Getting true global cooperation is incredibly tough, and there's this constant tug of war between economic growth and environmental protection. And underpinning all of it is the need for all of us, the public, to be informed and to push for action.
So, why do we do all this? Why go through all the trouble? The answer is actually really simple and it's powerful. It's all about our shared responsibility to take care of our only home, to achieve this one single goal, ensuring a healthy planet for future generations. And that leaves us with one last crucial question. We have the laws, we have the science, we have the tools. The rule book is right here in our hands. The real challenge now is for all of us, as people, as communities, and as nations, to turn all of those powerful words into real, lasting action.